Greetings, nerds! We officially made it to Pride Month, so in this video, I'm gonna draw myself as the wrestling style, or I'm gonna draw myself as a wrestler. Yeah, this is completely different. I have done this before, where I would draw myself as something else besides a cartoon style, a famous cartoon style like Caillou, SpongeBob, Arthur, any of those cartoon shows that you're familiar with or you haven't seen before. I'm familiar with a bunch of those cartoon shows. I did draw myself as a woman in my old channel, actually, and from my old camera, not this one that I'm currently using.
And that video I made there back then was just really mediocre and way too long.
I have drawn myself as a Lego style, and there's definitely some cartoon shows. There's definitely some shows that are based on Lego, so I'm gonna count that as a cartoon style, sorta. It's more of a construction toy phenomenon. It's been 4 weeks since I last drew myself as a style, and it feels really good to make a small return of this series. I am a wrestling fan. I do watch wrestling at some occasion. I don't watch Raw anymore. I don't watch SmackDown anymore. I don't watch AEW. I used to watch AEW. I only watch small clips on maybe Facebook. I know Instagram, maybe Twitter, YouTube for sure.
Here's a little side note. I do watch wrestling, the wrestling matches, either on YouTube, Dailymotion, or any other video platform on my phone.
In fact, I rarely watch TV. Yeah, I don't watch any of those wrestling shows anymore. I used to watch TNA. I don't really watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, any other wrestling companies out there. I'm partially a wrestling fan. I used to play the WWE 2K games and other wrestling games besides the WWE 2K game. I don't play those anymore, so I did pretty much lose interest to playing wrestling games. Yeah, I'm really thrilled to draw myself as a wrestler. I can't wait to see how the drawing is going to turn out. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and start drawing.
It's very difficult for me to know when it was the first time I ever watched wrestling, any of the wrestling promotions I first watched. It's just been a really long time. Over a decade, actually. Since the 2000s, actually. Maybe either year 2004 or 5. It was like around the early 2000s or the mid 2000s, I would say, when I first watched the WWE. I don't even remember the first match I watched, but I know the WWE is pretty much the first wrestling company I started watching, and I've been a wrestling addict ever since. I think I slowed down watching wrestling since like maybe the late 2000s to the early 2010s. I started becoming a huge wrestling addict or a wrestling fan again since the early, maybe either year 2011 or 2012. I think 2012 is a little bit of a stronger year when I got back to watching wrestling, the WWE, TNA. Those are pretty much the only two wrestling companies I would watch. Impact Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, Raw, SmackDown, ECW, all of that stuff. I really don't watch. I hardly watch pay-per-views because they do cost. It costs money to watch those special events. But since the late 2000s, I think, and throughout the 2010s, I would watch only the WWE and TNA / Impact Wrestling. TNA is currently called Impact Wrestling. And I got so many wrestlers that I really admire, like John Cena, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, CM Punk, The Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, AJ Styles, Hulk Hogan. So many wrestlers that are just awesome to watch. Finn Balor, The Shield, The Nexus, The Core, any of the wrestling groups or wrestling factions. And I do remember watching those wrestling factions, DX, NWO. I have watched WCW before. only very little. I wasn't really born in the 1990s. I was a baby when WCW came to an end. I was like 1 year old, I think. I have watched AEW. I used to watch AEW. I'm actually following these wrestling companies across social media. The social media platforms I got: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. WWE, AEW. I don't know about New Japan, but I'm strongly following the WWE and AEW. I think I like the WWE more than any other wrestling company. It's obvious that the WWE is like the McDonald's of wrestling, if that really makes sense, nerds. So yeah, I have watched AEW again. It's been around since the late 2010s. I wonder what's going to be another big wrestling company that's going to reach the level of AEW or maybe the WWE. I'm really interested to know what's going to be the next big wrestling company. We'll have to find out. It's still the early 2010s. I'm really intrigued. There's numerous wrestling memes on the internet, all over the internet, actually. My family are familiar with wrestling. We used to watch wrestling together back then, since during the 2000s, I think. It's been so long, and I hardly ever remember all of the memories I had to come across with my family. It would just be me, my sister, my older sister, my brother, my sister's father, my mom, and even my grandparents. I don't know about my grandfather, but my grandmother for sure would watch wrestling together back then. I used to live in Wisconsin.
Here's the finished drawing of me as a wrestler. We got my hair, my glasses, same old stuff as always, just like my previous drawings of me as a cartoon style. This is one of the few drawings I've ever done of me, but as something else besides a cartoon style. If that really made you get what I'm trying to say, nerd. Got my blue shorts, my white shirt. I was gonna add something to my white shirt, maybe a small illustration of glasses and a smiley face, because I did create a logo for my channel, glasses and a smiley face. It's going to be one of my official logos for this channel, Jules Nerdy 00. I'm holding a pencil with my left hand and I'm holding a clipboard with my right hand. I'm wearing my elbow pads so I don't destroy my elbows. I'm making sure you nerds can really see this drawing nice and well. I am using my ring light that's literally in front of me. I don't even know what the heck I'm wearing. I know I'm wearing my boots. Maybe they're leather boots. Maybe I'm wearing tape, knee pads for my legs and knees so I don't destroy my knees if I do wrestle. This is how I exactly imagine myself if I was a wrestler. Or if I wrestle temporarily or briefly. I don't think I'll ever wrestle in real life because, yeah, I am not the best at sports. I absolutely look like a jobber. Do you know what jobber means? So it's where wrestlers would lose in wrestling matches in a very short amount of time. If I was a wrestler, I would lose a match in like 6 seconds. I would just get squashed like a bug or a mosquito. I love how I did this drawing. This is pretty similar to Bob's Burger style, which is one of the most simple styles that you could ever do if you draw yourself for that style. Here's a closer look. I don't know if you nerds can really see the drawing nice and well. Here. I think you nerds can really see it a little bit better now. This kind of reminds me of Chris Jericho. That one gimmick from Chris Jericho from the years 2016 to 2017 when he was holding a metal clipboard and a pen or a pencil, and he would say, "You just made the list!" He would put several wrestlers and other people besides wrestlers in his list. It's a pretty humorous gimmick. That was when he was working with the WWE, so this kind of reminds me of that, because I'm holding a writing utensil and a clipboard and some paper. You can't really see the paper because the clipboard is blocking it. But again, I love how this turned out. I love how I did this, and the creativity will never die. Well, I will keep doing this until it's the right time for me to leave this world. So that is going to be the end of this video. Stay tuned for more content, and I hope this video is quite enjoyable to watch.
Feel free to subscribe to this channel. Feel free to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Oh, and also, feel free to follow my Facebook page. And thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your time.